Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm making one of the best things you'll ever eat and one of the easiest things you'll ever make. I'm making fried pies and oh my goodness, y'all, these are so good, and I'm using canned biscuits and canned pie filling. Now I've made these pies many times using my leftover scratch biscuit dough. They're delicious, but honestly at the end of the day I can't tell that much of a difference between the canned biscuits and the scratch made. So I found that these are a whole lot faster, easier, less messy. Need I say more? My husband absolutely loves them. These are my favorite biscuits to use. These are the flaky biscuits, you know, the kind that when they rise you can pull off layers. And I'm using the regular sized biscuits versus the Grands biscuit. To me, the Grands makes a really big fried pie, and the size of these work perfect. When I was a little girl and my mom would make these, my favorite thing was to do this. And most of the time she would let me do it. See the size of this? I'm telling you, they're perfect. And as you can see, I'm using a small can. These have 5 biscuits in it, and it's perfect for my husband and I. If I have any left over, I'll pop them in the freezer, heat them up in my air fryer, and it is just like they were fried fresh. Now I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my board. All right, now I'm going to get started on rolling this out. A little flour on my rolling pin. Now what I'm going to do is roll this biscuit out to the size of a saucer. Like if you would have a cup of coffee and a saucer to go with it, that's the perfect size. You want these nice and thin, and that's one of the reasons why they taste just, I would say 99% as good as scratch, because they're rolled out really thin, and these fry so well. There we go. First one is done, and see, it's the size of what I would say a coffee saucer is. Now they're going to shrink up just a little bit on you, and that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and roll out the rest of these, and then we're going to start filling them. These look perfect. And before I put my filling in, I'm just going to dip my fingers in water. Put it on the outer edges. This is going to help it stick a little bit better when we close it up. Now I have apple pie filling. This is one of my husband's favorites, and he likes it on the sweet side. So I have a little bit of cinnamon and granulated sugar, and I'm just going to put just a tiny bit of that right over the top. Close this up. You want to make sure that you get all of the air out, because when they're frying, you don't want that air to bust your pie. And I'm just going to fold these edges over just a little bit, just to give them just a little extra closure. And there we go. Now I have my peanut oil heating to a medium-high heat. Now there's a fine line of just right and too hot. There's times that I've forgotten about my oil and I've gotten it too hot, and these cook way too fast and they really don't get done in the middle like they should. So if you're one that uses a thermometer when frying, you're going to want your temperature to be at 350 degrees. Now I'm going to set these aside, And I'm gonna fry them all at once. Now here's some cherry pie filling. This is gonna be so good. Oh, I forgot to put the water first. Well, that's okay. And I'm gonna fold this over just like I did the apple. One of my husband's favorites outside of apple is pear. I get the pear halves and I just drain them really well, and I put a pear right in the center like I'm doing with this filling, top it with a little bit of cinnamon sugar. Oh, he loves those. If my sister-in-law Paula were here, I would be making blueberry. She loves blueberry fried pies. I have to say they are pretty good. Oh my goodness. Forget McDonald's drive-through getting the fried apple pies. These are ready to go. Now I saved one back, and instead of making the fried pie, I am going to make just some little kind of donut holes and roll them in powdered sugar and cinnamon and sugar. Yum. And I'm going to test my oil with this. Let's see how we are. Oh, it needs to be a little bit hotter. When this starts bubbling up really good, I know that it'll be perfect for my pies. Got my pan, my handy dandy tinfoil pan. I've lined it with a paper towel, and I've got a rack over the top because I do not like setting anything fried on a paper towel, because then it's going to absorb more of the oil. I want to get rid of the oil, not let it soak back into my food. Just keep an eye on that heat. These are bubbling up nice, so in they go. Now I've got maybe 3/4 of an inch of peanut oil, and you can also use a Dutch oven for this. They work perfectly. Now I'm just going to make sure that they don't stick. Just kind of shift them around a little bit. That looks so good. These are going to cook for about 2 minutes on each side. And in the meantime, I think I'll just have a little snack. I can tell this one's getting a little brown around the edges. Oh yeah, that's looking so good. And I'm taking my 2 forks. I found that this is the way I like to turn things when I'm frying. It's much easier to manipulate, and I don't damage the food with tongs. Oh yeah. And see what I'm talking about with the size of these? These are perfect for little hands and for big ones. This looks perfect. I'll go ahead and turn off my heat. And y'all, I get excited when I see these things. Now, for the last little bit, I just have some powdered sugar. Sometimes I make an icing for them, but I found that powdered sugar is better on these. These are going to stay crisp for a couple of hours, but when you add the wet glaze to them, they're not going to be as crispy. And to me, that's one of the best things about this pie. Now I'm going to flip them over. Now I want these to cool for just a minute, because that filling is some kind of hot. Even though you can touch the outside and it's okay, the inside is scorching hot because it just came out of the oil. So let them rest a good 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're gonna taste one of these. I can hardly wait. I think this one is calling my name. You know, I should have marked them because I don't know which one's apple or which one's cherry, but I know either way I go, it's going to be delicious. Apple. I can tell you right now, I'm a happy girl. Just take a bite. Yo, that is amazing. Forget making them any other way. This is the best. I cannot even tell that these are canned biscuits. It's amazing what frying them and filling them and just rolling the dough out really thin, what a difference it makes and how good they are. And like I said, with a little bit of vanilla ice cream, yum. I hope you'll try these. I hope you'll get your grands or your kids involved. They will love them. Or hey, wouldn't it be fun to have a dinner party and let everybody make their own fried pies? You could fry them, put out all sorts of fillings and different ice creams. You know, I think I just came up with a great idea for my next dinner party. You're a blessing to me. Thanks so much for watching. Would you like my video? Will you share it with your friends? That means so much. Well, I have a hot cup of coffee calling my name and the rest of this fried pie. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you next time.